Aloha and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show where we go into the labs and check out one cool thing. You know, we're in the presence of royalty here. Matt Buzzy, our analyst for hardware. I'm Joel Santo Domingo. And this is a, it's an ultra portable, right?
It's an ultra portable. This is the slimmest, latest, and travel-friendly technology. Obviously.
What do we have here?
This is the Origin EON17-SLX. As you said, in the presence of royalty, not me, but the king of laptop power, as I've dubbed it. This is, as configured, a just under $5,000 configuration. Starts at around $2,200, so you can obviously get it for a lot less, but this is meant to be super high-end gaming laptop.
So for even the base unit, you're going to have a little bit of scratch to pick one up.
Yeah, knowing going in, you're going to be spending a lot. This is not a budget system. You're not going to get a cheap way to build this. The reason this is so expensive, and this doesn't come default on the base one, is SLI graphics. It has two graphics cards. There's two GTX 1080s in it. That's
why? Why would you need?
Why not, Joel? Why not? So it has a desktop class CPU. It has an unlocked Core i7-7700K. It has 16 gigs of memory. We were thinking maybe a little bit more for that much money, but maybe the 32. But yeah, it's so. Start with the basics here. It's 12 pounds. It's huge. It is just under like 2 inches thick. It's 12 pounds. It's really heavy. This is not something I want to throw in my bag. Yes, it stretches the definition of a laptop in general.
So what games would you want to play on this, though?
I mean, that's the thing. If you're going to pay this much, you get any of the latest and greatest games at maximum settings, and it has a 4K screen. Games run at 60 frames with two graphics cards.
4K. So let's go over some other checkboxes. Yeah. VR. Is it VR capable?
VR, definitely VR capable. One of these cards would easily clear being VR capable, so two of them is a little obscene. It's so big because of the heat and power required. Generate so much heat running two cards. 4K display, as I said, G-Sync. Nice. So that's another bonus.
And what is G-Sync? G-Sync lets you...
G-Sync. So G-Sync syncs, as you may have guessed, the frame rate of the game or the application you're running with the refresh rate of your display for a smoother look, smoother gameplay. So got the little seal of approval sticker on the desk here that says G-Sync. That's something people spending a lot look for. People buy
G-Sync. You get less artifacts on screens, less screen tearing. So the screen's going to look nice. And it's going to look like a smooth picture.
Nice and smooth. A lot of people who buy gaming monitors buy specifically looking for G-Sync displays. So having it built into laptops.
We have a question.
We do.
How hot does it run?
Pretty warm, as you may expect. Not crazy loud, considering.
Right.
So the fans are like.
It's got a lot of fans in it.
Like, there's a lot of room. The back is all ventilation, so it didn't get too loud or hot. It got hot as you would expect. It didn't get hot abnormally. I already wouldn't want to put it on my lap because it would probably crush you to death
12
anyway.
Pounds,
yeah, like you're not gonna. It's not the travel system. So as far as sitting on your desk, much like a desktop would, it's honestly pretty equivalent to like a lower end desktop in terms of heat and.
Would you use a mouse or would you use the trackpad?
I mean, I would definitely use a mouse if I was doing any gaming. The trackpad's fine as a sensor. It has dedicated left and right click. I'll show you those. The keyboard, I don't know if it's showing up in the bright lighting, but it is customizable backlighting. There's 3 zones. It's not every key, so you can do that. The lid, also customizable backlighting on those. We need 2 people to hold this thing.
Yep.
The lid's also customizable with these light. They kind of pulse if it's asleep. It's red by default. You can change that.
Yep. And your Origin logo.
Got the Origin logo on the lid. You can when you're ordering these, if you want to drive the cost up even more, you can order all sorts of different designs, colors, materials. I believe
you can get it painted if you want.
Yeah, nice flame paint job if you want on there.
Awesome.
So for $5,000, obviously you're getting the highest end hardware. You're getting 2 cards, which yes, most things don't need. The main use of that is indeed 4K, because even the high end cards have trouble running 4K, 60 frames per second games.
How many monitors could you drive off of this thing?
Oh, 1 million, because it has 1 million ports and it has the power to do it. So let's talk. This is a good opportunity to talk about the ports on this side, which I am loath to continue lifting this thing, but USB-C Thunderbolt 3 mini display port. That is, I can't see over the top, another USB 3 port. That's an SD card slot. On the other side, USB 3.0 ports for days. There's 3 more. There are 2 Ethernet jacks because you can never have enough internet.
Right? Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Sure.
2 networks.
Enough, like 4 audio lines for Mike's headsets, in, out, etc. The back has a further 2 ports. It's another USB and it's HDMI.
And it does have a headset jack.
It does have a headset jack. Congratulations.
Awesome. Courageous. So anyway, It's got two mini display ports, two Ethernet jacks. What else does it have two of?
I'm glad you asked, Joel. It has two. You might notice this adapter. It has not one, but two power bricks. You need both of these for this thing to run when it's plugged in to get, power.
So you'll need two. It's just like a desktop. You'll need two plugs in your wall.
Yeah. These are both plugged into an outlet. This adapter runs from both of them, so you don't have to plug two things into the laptop itself. It feeds in nicely here. This is a little finicky. It's already not portable because it weighs so much. These add a couple more pounds. It weighs 15 pounds with all the wires, bricks, and the laptop itself. 15 pounds.
That's like a 1990s laptop.
That's
right?
a workout. Yeah. So, again, for that much money, for this much, I don't even know what to call it, for this much manual labor in transporting it, right. You are getting, as far as our benchmark tests are concerned, this is the most powerful, fastest laptop we've ever tested.
It's worth it, though.
If performance-wise, if you have the money to burn, you can't beat it. It's like a desktop. It is more portable still, people say, at this point,
right.
And that costs, yes. The cost more than anything, I think. Because I could excuse having a need for a laptop if you ever take it somewhere, even if you just want to move where in your house or apartment you're using it. Right. I think it's different still, even as big and heavy and cumbersome as it is, than having a tower and having a monitor. That's a whole different setup than being able to move this. You're going somewhere for the weekend, you're visiting home, you want to play, you want to play your laptop at night while everyone else goes to sleep. You want to game, you want to do that. LAN party, because it has so many Ethernet ports.
Yep. And I think we got a question.
Did you mention how much battery life you can get out of it when it's not hooked up to the power?
I did not, because it barely registered in my head, because it only ran for an hour and 56 minutes on a rundown test.
An hour and 56 minutes, so you can watch a movie.
You can almost get through some movies. It's obviously with the two power bricks, you can imagine the power draw of this thing is insane. 4K display, two graphics cards. It's
and
powering a
desktop
lot.
Desktop CPU.
Desktop chip, yeah. It's drawing a lot of power all the time. The good news is it's not really meant for a airplane tray table, as you would expect. Right. So it's not going to fit or last long enough to really be used in that capacity. But again, unlike a desktop, you actually could take it on a plane with you to go somewhere and use it when you get there, just not on the plane itself.
Right.
But you wouldn't bring a tower and a monitor with you.
Even if you were in first class, this wouldn't fit on the tray.
No, I don't think so.
No.
All joking aside about its size, obviously, that and the price of the caveat you're getting for performance like this in one package with two graphics cards.
Two graphics cards.
Because as far as alternatives are concerned, some of our other favorite 17-inch laptops, the Razer Blade Pro, is an inch thick. It's a quarter of the size of this thing. Mm-hmm. It's big because it's a 17-inch.
But how many graphics cards does the Pro have?
It only has one. That's okay. But that's a super premium machine. That's $4,000 because of the form factor, because of how thin it is, because it has a 4K touch display, because of all these other things. And so our other more reasonably priced options, those are the kind of the two, if money is no object sort of prices.
Sure.
Our other high-end option is the is the Alienware 17 R4.
Right.
It's still pricey, but several $1,000s less than those two guys.
So one of the stories that came out at CES this year were Razer and its Core and other external GPUs. Why would you get this instead of a smaller system with an external GPU?
That is if you know you're going to be on the road a lot. If you want the same gaming machine, you have to be your on the road machine. You come home, you plug it in. This is quite clearly all-in-one. It's not going to be intended to go very many places with you. You don't have to worry about a core. I guess the nice thing about the external GPU is it's easier to upgrade because in the future you just swap it out. And in this, you're kind of set with what you have.
Right.
But in this case, being set with what you have is going to be years and years of use because it's currently of the highest end card times 2. You're good for a long time. I think we have a question.
Do we measure standby battery life if it's not on and we're just transporting it somewhere?
Just running it? No, we run tests with power drain for use, kind of give like a real life use case of if you're watching a video for a long period of time, if you're on a plane with the airplane mode off and running and you're trying to watch a movie, how long will it last you in that scenario? Standby, even this would probably last forever.
It probably lasts for a while.
A long time.
You're not using it, and it's got a big battery in it.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's not drawing any power for the screen and the graphics, even this is going to last a long time in sleep mode or standby. If you ever put your phone in airplane mode even and don't touch it, it'll be like ticked down 1% days later. Stuff draws very little power when it's in sleep mode.
Yep, and this thing has LEDs all over it, so those aren't drawing power either.
Yeah,
they are while it's in operation.
Yeah, and I shut all the backlights and stuff off for the battery test, so that was nearly optimal conditions.
2 hours. You can move it
it's
across the
something.
room.
It's not like it's going to turn off right away. You can use it on your couch and while you're watching a show and put it back or whatever, drag it into your living room. It's just not going to be, oh, I'm going to use it my whole flight. I'm going to use it on a car road trip because it's going to die on you pretty quick.
And the keyboard, is it pretty comfortable? Or?
It's pretty comfortable. It's not mechanical. It's a little bouncy, I think is how I describe it. Not in a bad way. It's also not chiclet. The keys are all flushed together,
right.
Which takes a minute to adjust to because they're kind of, it's
more
not bad. It's just
yep.
different than most laptop keyboards are currently. So it's nice and bouncy, though.
Nice.
I enjoy typing on it.
Can you turn the Windows key off while you're gaming?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Probably,
okay.
maybe. What else? Oh, the speakers. So the speakers, we got some
Yep.
Sound Blaster audio. It is very loud. It does, as you'd hope for something this big. These two corner speakers are, these two corner parts are the speakers here.
There's a lot of room from the chassis for it.
Yeah.
So.
And it has, while not crazy sound system audio, you wouldn't want to play it. If I played it full volume to test it in front of myself and kind of hurt my ears. Like it's definitely loud. I don't know if the audio quality is like insane for bass and everything, but it's loud and clear enough. There's a little tinniness at max, but I also wrote that I wouldn't want to listen to anything at max because it'll blow your ears at that close. It's quite loud.
When you're playing, do you need to use headphones or?
The hardcore crowd's probably going to anyway, to be honest. If you play a movie, it's loud enough to watch across the room, and the screen's big enough that you can actually do that. For playing games, a lot of the time, probably headphones plugged in, earbuds plugged in, especially if you're on a headset chatting to people. That's just kind of the setup you want to use. But they can get the job done. They're by no means bad speakers.
Can it handle USB headphones as well as the traditional headphones with the multiple plugs off?
Yeah, I
of
believe
it?
so.
Yeah,
I believe so. I think that's all our basics. Oh, storage, actually.
Storage,
Didn't
yes.
cover storage. There is, in addition to a 512 gigabyte SSD, nice and speedy, pretty good amount of SSD storage, there's a
not
2 terabyte hard drive inside. So for sheer, scratch drives, for sheer file storage, and for most of your game installations, you'll probably throw on that. For anything that needs more speed, anything that can benefit from being on your SSD, load a little faster. Obviously, Windows itself, you want on the SSD, so it boots quickly.
So I won't have to uninstall GTA 5 to install Destiny 2.
Right, yeah, just leave that stuff on, unless there's one game you really want, like a couple games, because it's only 512, it's going to fill up.
Yep.
But if you want your most prime games that you really want performance out of, put them on the SSD and throw the rest on the 2 terabyte hard drive. So there's plenty of room for it.
Speaking of room, how's 4K video on this thing?
It looks great. So the screen is sharp, obviously, with 4K resolution. The matte finish on the screen, which does cut down on glare, I find this isn't really a criticism of this rather than just matte technology. I find it kind of dulls the picture a bit. It's not as impressive as looking at some displays that are really glossy and shiny, but it does cut down on glare. So
It does cut down on glare, but it kills the colors a little bit.
yeah, it's a little muted, I think would be the word. That matte screens, the effect they have, in my opinion, is they mute the color picture a little bit. But it looks good. Video still is very crisp. And it's actually a little hard to see, as you know, resolution, scaling, and all that. Text on a native 4K is like this big, so you want to scale up the resolution if you can't see. So that's definitely a problem with some applications.
Sure, we got a question.
We get this a lot, but why would I buy a gaming laptop as opposed to building my own, or I guess getting a desktop in this case?
Yeah, well, okay. So in certain cases, there's two sides to that. There's something to be said for having a portable option.
Right, you can take it with you.
You can take it with you. The answer is clear. A desktop, if you build a small one, you can take it with you some degree of ease. But at the end of the day, you're carrying a monitor and the tower. It's just
or you're
all
trying
the cords.
to find an HD TV to plug it into.
Right, you need speakers. It's just not. It's not
ideal.
It's not ideal at all. A laptop use case would be you're going off to college. You move it a lot. You play it in different rooms. You bring your same gaming system into your living room as you do when you're sitting at your desk playing games. You take it to a friend's house. You visit your parents and you take it home with you when you play games when you're home.
You're probably going to be using it as a dorm room rather than taking the lecture hall, though.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But then there's, of course, the other side of that is the reason why people would ask, why would you do this, is because you get a lot more bang for your buck out of a desktop. So yes, cost effectiveness, between building your own desktop and buying a desktop. Building your own is, of course, the most cost effective. You have to have the know-how. Buying a desktop, still more cost effective than a laptop because a lot of the money goes into the sort of miniaturization of getting stuff so small, getting it in that form factor, getting a good battery and screen built in. So the price, yes, it ramps up. But you can bring it with you at the end of the day.
building a desktop, I think you could probably help us out with that, right?
I could, yes. We did a build recently. We did a 4K home theater stream. You can find it on our Facebook, or Peter, drop a link in the comments. Me and John Burek, editor-in-chief of Computer Shopper, we'll be back with more of those. But we just built a desktop on stream. You can go watch it live. Obviously, I am a proponent of building desktops. I built my own home. We built this one on stream. It's a lot of fun. Yes, it's cost-effective. I know the hardcore enthusiasts out there always say you can get so-and-so parts for cheaper, especially in this case. It's a very, very pricey laptop. I totally understand that. This is rated against other super expensive laptops only. So that's with the assumption you are knowing going in you're spending a lot on a laptop. It's not saying this is the most cost-effective option. It's if you're looking for a laptop and willing to spend a lot.
But also you get...
It's a high-powered one.
With something like the Origin here, a boutique PC maker, you do get service and support.
Yes, that is the other thing. There's lifetime call support for service and stuff like that, and a 1-year warranty. So, and it's all US based, which is helpful. So you get that kind of round the clock call support. That may not cover replacement for the parts later
What's
on.
The parts and labor on?
I think it's a year.
A year?
Yeah,
okay. That's not bad.
Yeah. So replacement for those, but you can always call and ask to find out what's wrong, have it diagnose it, and help you out. And then if you have to pay for parts later, yes, but they'll at least always be there to support you if something is wrong.
Sure, as opposed to if you do it yourself, you're pretty much responsible for your own support.
Yeah, you can't call the individual chip maker, the hard drive guy, on your phone with every component maker. Something's not working. Somebody help me.
Right.
So support is another big part of that for sure.
Absolutely. All right, I think we got it. Thanks a lot for watching. We got one cool thing, the Origin EON17-SLX, 2 graphics cards. Matt Buzzy, I'm Joel Santo Domingo. Aloha.